Have you ever stood in front of a mirror, really looked at yourself, and asked, am I living for myself or for the world's expectations? Most people never do. We wake up, rush to meet deadlines, follow routines, chase approval, and forget the one person we should be working hardest for, ourselves. Jack Ma once said, if you don't think for yourself, you'll be working for someone who does. And that, my friend, is not just a business quote. It's a life truth. Because the world is full of people who will tell you what to do, who to be, and what success should look like. But when you live by their definition, you lose your direction. The greatest trap, living for others. Think about this. How many decisions have you made just to please others? The college you chose, the job you took, the lifestyle you chase. Are they truly yours? When you think too much about what others think, you stop thinking about what you think, you stop being the driver of your own life, and instead, you become a passenger on someone else's journey. Jack Ma faced this himself. When he failed his university entrance exams, not once, but twice, people called him hopeless. When he was rejected from 30 jobs, including KFC, people laughed. But he kept thinking about himself. He didn't measure his worth by their rejection. He said, maybe I'm not good for them, but I'm good for something. That is what it means to think about yourself always. Not in a selfish way, but in a self-aware way. It means asking, what do I really want to learn? What kind of life do I want to live? What legacy do I want to leave behind? You see, the most successful people are not those who try to impress the world. They're the ones who impress themselves first, by following their truth, their curiosity, and their hunger to grow. The power of inner conversation. The greatest conversations you'll ever have are not with others. They're with yourself. Every morning, ask yourself, am I proud of what I'm doing today? Am I moving toward my vision or someone else's? Jack Ma didn't build Alibaba because people believed in him. He built it because he believed in himself when no one else did. He was an English teacher earning $12 a month. People thought he was crazy when he spoke about the internet in the 1990s. But he had a vision, a dream that came from inside. That dream was not to be rich, but to make it easier for small businesses to compete. A dream that aligned with his identity and his purpose. And that's what thinking about yourself really means. Aligning your choices with your inner truth, not the noise outside. Why thinking about yourself is not selfish. Some people hear, think about yourself, and call it selfish. But let me tell you something powerful. It's the most generous thing you can do. Because when you grow, you create value. When you understand yourself, you can guide others. If you don't take care of your dreams, who will inspire others to dream? If you don't believe in your ideas, who will give others the courage to believe in theirs? Jack Ma didn't start Alibaba to compete. He started it to contribute. But that contribution came after he discovered who he really was and what he truly wanted to do with his life. When you think about yourself, you're not ignoring the world. You're preparing to impact it. You're building strength, vision, and clarity. You're learning to say no to things that drain you and yes to the things that build you. So don't let guilt stop you from putting yourself first. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't light the world if your own flame is fading. Your reflection is waiting. Here's a truth we often ignore. The world you experience is a reflection of the way you see yourself. If you think you're powerless, you'll live like a victim. If you think you're valuable, you'll live like a creator. Every change in your life starts with a change in your mindset. When Jack Ma started teaching himself English, he didn't do it because someone told him to. He did it because he believed communication could change his future. That single belief opened the door to opportunities that shaped his destiny. So, start today. Look in the mirror, not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. Ask, what do I really want? What is stopping me from going after it? If I trusted myself fully, what would I do differently today? Those questions are not just reflections. They are roadmaps. Because when you know who you are, you'll know where you're going. My friend, success begins the moment you stop running from yourself and start running toward yourself. The world will always have opinions. Some loud, some harsh, some well-meaning, but none of them can define you unless you let them. Thinking about yourself always means choosing authenticity over approval, growth over comfort, and truth over expectation. And once you start doing that, you'll notice something amazing. You'll stop comparing, stop competing, and start creating. This is where transformation begins. With awareness, with reflection, and with courage. Because the first step toward changing your life is not changing the world. It's changing the way you think about yourself. Do you know what the most expensive thing in the world is? It's not gold. It's not Bitcoin. It's your energy, your time, your attention, your focus. Every single day, the world is competing to steal those from you. Your phone, your social media feed, the endless opinions of people who don't even know you, they all want your focus. And if you don't protect it, you'll spend your entire life living in distraction, never realizing your true potential. Jack Ma once said, "When people say bad things about you, remember, it's their problem, not yours." That's wisdom from someone who faced criticism from every direction. People called him unrealistic, delusional, even foolish. Yet he stayed focused on his dream. Why? Because he protected his energy. He refused to let negativity rent space in his mind, the thieves of your focus. Let's be honest. How often do you waste your energy worrying about what others are doing? You scroll through your phone and see someone's success, someone's new house, someone's achievement, and suddenly your own path feels smaller. But comparison is a silent thief. It steals your joy, your focus, your drive. You don't need to compare your Chapter 1 to someone else's Chapter 10. Your timing is different. Your journey is different. Jack Ma didn't start Alibaba until he was 35. If he had spent his 20s comparing himself to billionaires, he might have given up before his story even began. Remember this. You can't win your race while looking at someone else's lane. Every time you think about others more than yourself, you drain your power. Every time you try to prove yourself to people who don't matter, you delay your growth. Your energy is sacred. Don't waste it trying to explain your vision to those who cannot see it. Learn to be misunderstood. The truth is, if you think differently, you will be misunderstood. People will question your path because it doesn't fit their logic. But that's okay. Every visionary, every innovator, every leader went through that phase. When Jack Ma gathered 17 of his friends in his apartment to talk about building a business on the internet, many laughed. Some didn't even understand what he was saying. But he smiled and said, "Someday, this will connect the world." He didn't argue. He didn't try to convince them. He just believed. That's what happens when you think about yourself always. You don't waste energy proving your worth. You channel it into building your vision. So, my friend, learn to be misunderstood. Let people talk. Let them doubt. While they're busy discussing you, you'll be busy discovering yourself. The circle that shapes you, your circle, is a reflection of your mindset. If you spend time with people who complain, you'll absorb their energy. If you surround yourself with dreamers, you'll absorb their courage. Jack Ma often says, if you want to be successful, learn from the mistakes of others, not from their success. He surrounded himself with people who challenged him, not with negativity, but with perspective. So ask yourself, who am I spending my time with? Do they lift me higher, or do they drain my spirit? Sometimes, Protecting your energy means walking away from people who don't see your value, not because they're bad, but because they're not meant to walk your path. Growth requires space, and space often requires distance. Your energy builds your reality. The energy you give to your goals determines the life you build. If you feed your dreams daily with belief, effort, and consistency, they will grow. If you feed your fears with doubt and excuses, they'll grow too. Your energy is like sunlight. Whatever you shine it on will expand. When Jack Ma was building Alibaba, he didn't have money, power, or connections, but he had energy, unstoppable, passionate energy. He said, "We will make it work, not because we have money, but because we believe." And that belief became fuel. It turned a small team with no experience into one of the most powerful companies in the world. So stop saying you're tired. You're not tired. You're uninspired. You're not out of energy. You're giving it to the wrong things. Start investing your focus into your future, not your fear. The discipline of saying no to think about yourself always. You must master one word. No. Say no to gossip. Say no to doubt. Say no to distractions that steal your attention from your purpose. Every no you give to the unnecessary is a yes to your destiny. Jack Ma turned down several lucrative offers early in his career because they didn't align with his vision. People thought he was foolish, but he was protecting his energy, keeping his focus pure. That's what success looks like behind the scenes. Not grand moments, but small decisions to stay focused day after day. Thinking about yourself always doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means prioritizing your peace, your dreams, and your purpose. You are not being selfish when you protect your energy. You are being strategic. Because when your energy is right, your life aligns. When your mind is clear, your vision grows. When your spirit is strong, your world expands. Jack Ma didn't build success overnight. He built energy, day by day, belief by belief, action by action. And so can you. Stop letting the world drain you. Start letting your dreams drive you. Because the truth is, you don't need more time. You need more focus. And you don't need everyone to understand you. You just need to understand yourself. Let's be honest. The world will always have something to say about you. When you fail, they'll laugh. When you succeed, they'll question. When you change, they'll criticize. So why waste your life trying to satisfy people who can never be satisfied? Thinking about yourself always is not arrogance. It's clarity. It's knowing that you were born with a purpose only you can fulfill. No one else can walk your path. No one else can carry your vision. Jack Ma didn't try to become Bill Gates. He didn't copy Steve Jobs. He became Jack Ma, and that made all the difference. You see, success is not about imitation. It's about creation. The world doesn't need another version of someone else. The world needs you. Your mind, your ideas, your fire. The courage to be different in life. It's easy to follow the crowd. It feels safe, predictable, and familiar. But the crowd never created history. The crowd never changed the world. Jack Ma was an ordinary man from Hangzhou, rejected from 30 jobs. Yet he kept asking himself one question: what can I do differently? When the world was chasing government jobs, he chased the internet. When people feared failure, he embraced it. When others looked for security, he searched for possibility. That is the power of thinking about yourself. It gives you the courage to be different. You must understand this. If you follow the crowd, you'll blend in. If you follow your heart, you'll stand out. And yes, standing out can be uncomfortable. People might not understand your decisions. They might call you crazy. But remember, all visionaries were once called crazy until the world caught up to them. Your pain is your power. Here's a truth most people avoid. Your greatest strength is hidden inside your pain. Jack Ma once said, "If you've never tried, how will you ever know if there's any chance?" Every rejection he faced, every failure he endured, became his teacher. He learned that failure is not the opposite of success. It's the foundation of it. So, don't run from your struggles. Don't hide from your disappointments. Every difficulty you face is shaping your character, sharpening your focus, and preparing you for greatness. When you think about yourself always, you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, you ask, "What is this teaching me?" That single shift transforms pain into purpose and fear into fuel. The silent years matter. The problem today is that everyone wants the result, but few are willing to walk through the silence. You want the applause, but not the process. You want the reward, but not the routine. But listen, growth happens in silence. When Jack Ma was teaching English to tourists in Hangzhou, he wasn't famous. He wasn't rich. He was just learning, listening, practicing, improving. Those years of quiet preparation built the foundation for everything that came later. So, if you're in a silent season right now, don't rush it. Don't think your progress is invisible just because it's not public. The roots grow before the tree rises. Your effort is never wasted. Your discipline is never forgotten. Every day you think for yourself, believe in yourself, and act for yourself. You're building your future quietly. One decision at a time. Your life is your responsibility. No one is coming to save you. No, one will build your dreams for you. And that's not bad news. That's the greatest freedom you'll ever have, because it means you have the power. You can change everything. Your career, your mindset, your habits, your destiny, if you start taking full responsibility. Jack Ma didn't wait for luck. He created opportunities where none existed. He said, "Today is hard. Tomorrow will be worse. But the day after tomorrow will be sunshine." That's the attitude of someone who never blames the world. He builds his world. So don't say, "I can't." Say, "How can I?" Don't say, "I don't have enough." Say, "What can I do with what I have?" The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is not talent. It's mindset. When you take responsibility, you step into power. When you stop blaming, you start building. The legacy of thinking about yourself. When you think about yourself always, you become a leader, not because you control others, but because you control yourself. You start making choices based on purpose, not pressure. You start living with authenticity, not apology. You start realizing that your life is a message, one that can inspire others to believe in their own strength. Jack Ma's legacy is not just Alibaba. It's the mindset he taught millions. Don't wait for the world to change. Be the one who changes first, and that's exactly what happens when you start thinking about yourself always. You stop waiting for motivation and start creating momentum. You stop looking for validation and start building vision. You stop chasing people and start chasing purpose. The final call, my friend. The time has come to look inward, not to judge, but to understand, not to escape, but to evolve. Because the moment you truly start thinking about yourself, your values, your growth, your direction, you stop living a borrowed life and start living a meaningful one. Life is short. Don't spend it trying to please those who will never applaud you. Don't waste your fire trying to light someone else's shadow. Focus on your path. Build your dream. Believe in your power. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize that the best decision you ever made was to stop chasing the world and start trusting yourself. Remember, success doesn't start with opportunity. It starts with clarity. The clarity to know who you are, what you want, and where you're going. So today, look in the mirror and say, from this moment, I choose myself. Because once you do that, the world will have no choice but to believe in you too. Final message. Thinking about yourself always isn't selfish. It's self-mastery. It's the art of turning your thoughts into purpose, your purpose into action, and your action into legacy.